It is 7:05 p.m. The Board of Trustees of the Porte Independent School District is now convened. I wish to extend a warm welcome to everyone present. I'm going to start off at item 4, board protocol. As the LaPorte ISD Board of Trustees, we're here to set goals, adopt policy, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and communicate the district's vision and success to the community. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. School board meetings are open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. Audience participation is limited to the patron presentation portion of the meeting. Board members may not respond to the public comment section. These proceedings may be recorded, and I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking. Thank you for taking time this evening to join us and for your interest in the LaPorte Independent School District. At this time, we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would join me in the pledge to the United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas flag. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Invocation today will be given by Miss Melissa Crutcher, Board Trustee.
Will you please join me in prayer? Heavenly Father, we are so grateful for the opportunity to serve the families of this community. Your blessings in LaPorte ISD have been abundant, but we come before you to ask that you continue to show your favor here. We ask for a hedge of protection around all of our students and staff, not only in our schoolhouses, but any place that they call home. We ask that you prepare them all for a school year filled with engagement, enlightenment, enthusiasm, and excellence. Let us delight in progress over perfection and remember that no achievement is too small to celebrate. Lord, we ask that you guide the parents to become partners with their child's teachers, ensuring the greatest opportunity for their success. We ask, Father, for your wisdom to fill the minds of the legislators creating the laws and the rules that are supposed to measure the success of our students, and that you grant us the ability and knowledge to make decisions that best support our students and teachers. Last but not least, Lord, we ask for you to continue to do your will here, filling every place, heart, and mind with your presence, comfort, and peace throughout the coming school year. You are needed and welcome, Lord, and it is in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, board, don't get seated. We're going to move to the front of the line here. We have board recognition. Adam has some information.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam Holland, and I have the best job in the district as the Director of Communications and Community Relations, and this very moment in every board meeting is the very best part of my job. We've had some high school graduates that wrap things up this summer, and that's a great thing. We want to recognize them here this evening. And we are going to start out with some students from LaPorte High School. Annabelle Tarantino. Russell Goodrum. Not everyone was able to make it tonight. Still, we want to acknowledge them publicly. Adrian Hall. Now we move on to graduates from the Academy of Viola DeWalt High School. And as your name is called, come up, get your certificate. We also have a pen for you. And then go shake hands with the board and then stick around. We'd like a photo. From the Academy at Viola DeWalt High School, Haley Clark. Yadira Gonzalez. Stephen Trimble. And finally, from the Academy of Viola DeWalt High School, Logan Zimmerman. Can y'all go up with the board? If you were within the sound of my voice, or in this zip code, or in the next zip code over, or area code, you certainly knew what was happening last weekend and the weeks before. It was called the Fill the Bus campaign. A school bus from Porte ISD was parked in the Kroger parking lot a couple of weeks ago, and we have a lot of generous people and companies in this town, and we couldn't possibly fit them all in the boardroom, but we definitely wanted to recognize the folks who organized it, who have joined us this evening. First of all, it should be known that more than 400 children received school supplies filled backpacks this past weekend. LaPorte EMS was also at the event, and quite a few kids got caught up on their immunizations. It brought back some memories. I heard some. Yeah, I was that kid. And then I believe there were 100 haircut vouchers. They gave out vouchers so that the kids could wait until closer to school to go get the free haircuts. What an awesome thing y'all have done. Thank you so much. First, we'd like to recognize Ms. Shay Lister. Shay and I just met each other, 4 weeks ago, and now we're BFFs. Johnny Morales. Johnny was in charge of all the logistics and all the cones and all the traffic control and all that other good stuff. Lisa Camp. Sean Komanek. And finally, Crystal Redden.
Okay, we'll go to item 6, public comments. The board will now hear those who wish to make comments and who have completed and returned the public comment participation request. This section will be conducted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act and board policy. Complaints and concerns for which other resolution channels are provided shall be directed through those channels. Mr. Shoppy, do we have? Nobody, okay. With that being said, we'll go to item 7, administrative reports. Dr. Jackson?
Thank you, Mr. President. For trustees, we've had a successful summer, and our principals and other hiring managers have all worked hard all summer to fill vacancies and prepare for the first day of the year. Because of their hard work, they've attended 3 job fairs and various other marketing plans. Our district is in very good shape, and we are ready for August 17th. We have discussed and explored safety and security processes throughout the summer, and will continue to do so moving forward. You'll hear some of that tonight. Safety and security are paramount to the academic, social, and emotional success of all of our students and staff and stakeholders in LaPorte ISD. Among the steps we've taken this summer to enhance our safety and security includes training and retraining of our staff and our substitute teachers and our students, and SROs and parents already have or will be receiving training on our safety and security measures. We have also enhanced our facilities by adding access, control doors, and more surveillance, which includes 150 security cameras installed this summer. Navigate 360 is a technologically advanced app that provides for instant response, you'll hear more about that tonight, to all types of emergencies. Our district safety initiative is being led by Deputy Superintendent Dustin Bromley during these efforts, and you will hear more about that. This week, Board, we welcomed more than 1,000 of our colleagues back to work at our annual convocation, where they heard several strong messages of encouragement, including a message from our keynote speaker, Damon West, encouraging us all to be the positive change. We thank the band, the choirs, the chatos, cheerleaders, and JROTC for their help in making convocation such a memorable and exciting event. This coming Thursday, we will attend the Breakfast with the Stars, hosted by the LaPorte Education Foundation. And on Friday, our teachers will attend LaPorte University, our district-wide professional development conference, where more than 100 sessions will be offered to attendees. This is a brief summary of what's happened over the summer. However, tonight you will receive several other updates from our curriculum and instruction department, all along with our operations department as well. And so this will conclude those comments. I'd like to take this opportunity, Mr. Board President, to introduce to the community and to the board some of our new hires. And we have several new hires this summer, and they've already been hired. So we just want to introduce you to the board, and we want you to know the names and the faces of the folks you'll be hearing about and seeing do great things in our world, okay? I'll start with, and I'll ask each of you to come up, and I would like the board to meet you. So board, would you mind going back? I would like the board to meet you and shake your hand, because some of you haven't had the opportunity to meet the folks that help make it all happen at our governance level, our Board of Trustees. So at this time, we're going to ask and introduce you to Assistant Principal at LaPorte Elementary, Kendra Person. Let's give her a hand. So Kendra, if you'd come on up and shake the board's hand, and if you have family members or somebody that you brought that you'd like to introduce, you're certainly welcome to do that after you shake the board's hand. You have some guests?
I don't have here with me in spirit.
All right, okay. Just want to make sure. So come on down, and we'll come back and take a nice picture with you in just a few moments. I'd also like to introduce the principal of the James H. Baker 6th grade campus, Mr. Lucio Rodriguez. They're already on the job, so I don't have a whole lot to say about them tonight. They're already working. Assistant Principal at Lomax Junior High, Justin Myers. think Justin is a 22-year veteran in this district. Outstanding. I don't know how I remembered that. It wouldn't help me on Jeopardy, I'm sure. We've introduced this person before, but we want to welcome her back to the district. She's already hard at work at LaPorte High School. LaPorte High School Associate Principal, Hannah Brooks. Also, we'd like to also introduce to you who was the former assistant principal at Lomax Junior High, but she's now the associate principal, Stephanie Jones. Stephanie Brown, I'm sorry. I wrote the wrong one. Miss Brown, sorry. Miss Brown. Sorry, Miss Brown. Woo. Sorry about that, Ms. Brown. We have some new positions that we're really working on to address the many needs of our students and our staff in our school district. We now have a coordinator of social and emotional learning and student wellness, and we'd like to introduce you to someone that we all know, Ms. Janice Alfaro. New position, Coordinator of Advanced Academics and Career Technology and Education, CTE, Ms. Marissa Lopez. And I think you brought a guest. You could certainly put, any of you that brought guests, please make sure you introduce. Would you like to introduce your guests?
Yes, I have my mother with me and one of my 3 boys. Didn't bring them all. It's working, but I'm sure he would not be right now.
We're delighted to be in the inaugural year of our STEM academies at the elementary schools, and therefore we have a STEM facilitator, Miss Shannon Fanning. Come on down. Our Human Resources Coordinator, Ms. Manuela Alex Paz. Alex, if you brought some family, you're certainly welcome to introduce them.
I brought my son and my husband.
Coordinator of School Nutrition, Ms. Catherine Yarbrough. Let's give her a hand. Okay, board, these are just some folks we wanted to introduce you to tonight. Thank you so much. Let's give them all a hand. Yes, let's come on back and take a I'm sorry.
Yeah, we might have to. We can stay back.
You want us here?
Come on, come on.
Also, Mr. President and Board of Trustees, under administrative reports tonight, and certainly this is your meeting, Mr. President, we have several reports tonight from our district administrative personnel. And so I would request that we receive the resilient school support update first.
That's fine. Board, any objections? No, they're fine.
After that.
Can you hear me? Good evening, President Yonda, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Jackson. So this evening, I wanted to give you an update on our RSSP Cycle 3. This is the Resilient School Support Program. We're on our year 2. Last year, we started that with Dr. Wadley. I believe she gave you an update last year, but I wanted to refresh your memory and let you know what we're doing this upcoming year with RSSP 3. So just to give you a quick background, the Resilient School Support Program was an awarded grant to our district that provides customized technical assistance to build robust COVID recovery and learning acceleration plans due to COVID. Now keep in mind, this grant was not a monetary grant, so we did not receive money for it. It was more of providing a service provider to us and helping our district and our campus leaders with strategic planning to provide resources and support student academic success. So this past year, Dr. Wadley had shared with the board year 1 with what they were doing. So this evening, I'm going to give you an update on that and then talk about how we're moving into year 2. So before we begin, the brief overview is this primary focus on year 1 involved strengthening the PLC work, which is our professional learning communities in our middle schools. So 2 of our middle schools, LaPorte and also Lomax, Cade and Blake, they began that PLC work last year and they were committed to continuing that work this year. And due to refining the PLC process at their campuses, we actually saw a lot of gains in their academic achievement in the STAR data due to their PLC processes. So we're going to continue with that commitment this upcoming year. So as we move into year 2, we're reestablishing the RSSP team made of district folks, which is me, Julie Abrams, and our teaching and learning team, and then our schools, our school leaders and administrators into year 3. So we are establishing strategic goals based on STAR Spring 22 data. We measure that by creating prioritized grade and content area focus, and I'll tell you what those focus are in a second. We conducted stakeholder surveys, so we had surveys with teachers, with students, with parents, and talked about how last year learning was with PLC and student work and student achievement. And we also conducted a lot of Tier 1 instructional walks last year. Julie and the team and Dr. Wadley did a lot of walks just to see how the PLC process was going and how the teaching and learning was in the classroom. So as we moved into June of this year and we received our STAR data, we started to look and see what areas we want to improve or target for year 2 in the RSSP. What we noticed, and I'll delve deeper into this once we get the official data in, so that will be our next board meeting in September, and we'll delve into the STAR data. But what we did notice with our student data is that by 5th grade in math, our STAR score starts to decrease in terms of math achievement for our students. And so that means when they get to approaches, meets, and masters, we start to see a slight decrease from 5th to 6th, 6th to 7th, 7th to 8th, and into Algebra 1. And so what really was another crucial area that we looked at is on STAR, you have approaches, meets, and masters. When a student is at approaches, they are just at a point where they're passing. What we really want to target is to get all of our LaPorte students at meets and masters. When they're at meets, that means they're ready for the next grade level. And so when we say approaches, that's okay, but what we're really targeting and what the focus is for this year is all of our students getting to meets and masters. And so when we looked at that, we noticed that our meets and masters at 6th, 7th, 8th, and Algebra 1 was not where it needed to be. And so what do we need to do? Those are the critical thinking skills that students need in order to be successful in the next level math. So for year two of our RSSP, our targeted specific growth will be on math sixth grade, math seventh grade, math eighth grade, and algebra 1. And so moving forward, we created a theory of action. And the theory of action is to continue and strengthen our POC process. What does that look like in our math department meetings? How do we ensure that collaboration and processes are in place so that we're looking at student data, we're looking at progress monitoring where students are, and how do we move them? And so with that, we have targeted learning strategies. And these strategies are what we can do for students from elementary to middle to high. So by the time they get to Algebra 1, they're ready for the EOC, and that's the ultimate goal. And so these are high-quality differentiation instruction. We're looking at intervention strategies. We're looking at how can we do small group instruction to get these students with the gaps that they need. And so our timeline for the RSSP goal is that we're building the PLC process this year. We're continuing that process. We have a new principal at Baker, and he's going to work with us in terms of the PLC process in sixth grade, and then continue that at our middle school, and definitely strengthening our Algebra 1. So in a few minutes, Julie's going to come up here, and she's going to share with you the work that we've done with professional learning for each grade level. So you'll see the work we started in June, July, and now. So once we get the refined PLC process in place, the ultimate goal is to ensure that we see achievement in our STAR data for spring of 2023. And so I'll come back in the summer and talk to you about the progress that we made from this RSSP 3. Any questions?
Question.
Mm-hmm.
On the, you said you used survey data. How much participation did you get on the survey from math teachers in particular in those grades that you're trying to target?
That's a good question. So the survey was done with all the math teachers in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade in Algebra 1. And so the target from year 1 with Dr. Wadley and the team was looking at the PLC process. And again, what we noticed is the strength was in the work of the instructional leader with the junior highs. So they really hone in on what PLC looked like. They ensure that the process were in place. But what we want to do is image that into Algebra 1. We also know in Algebra 1 this year, we have a lot of new teachers. And so we're going to work closely and target Algebra 1 with our department chair, with our teams, and really hone in with the RSSP work of how we can ensure that PLC is collaborative and looking at student progress.
So you have a good,
Yeah.
good response.
We have good response because the survey for the teachers was really just our math teams. So our math teams, they went into the department chairs meeting and had those surveys with those teachers. You have questions?
Thank you. Going over? Okay. No, okay. C, professional learning update. Is it?
Good evening. I want to piggyback on some of the things that Dr. Brown reiterated with our work and our focus. As she mentioned, our focus has been on math with RSSP, but also with literacy. And so our professional learning efforts this summer are really working to target those things to help our staff. So just a brief update on what we've been doing. We've provided over 80 professional learning opportunities this summer for teachers and staff, and we had over 600 participants in those sessions this summer, which was a pretty great turnout, in my opinion. These offerings were aligned to our top priorities and included small group instruction for ELAR in elementary schools. It targeted reader response strategies in secondary ELAR. Supported strategies for supporting readers with dyslexia and reading by design. We have new instructional materials that we've adopted with junior high to help support our work in our junior high math. And so we had some training for our teachers for those new materials. We had training for math workshop and the workshop model, which is instructional strategies to help shore up those small group lessons, the differentiation instruction in mathematics. And then the instructional technology team provided a whole week's worth of offerings in instructional technology. We also joined the Houston Area Cooperative this summer. It's the Houston Area Cooperative for the Gifted and Talented. It's a local organization made up of 32 area school districts who joined forces to provide outstanding professional learning for GT educators. This summer, the Houston Area Cooperative offered 3,400 courses to teachers, including nearly 40 LaPorte ISD teachers who took part in some of those offerings, so that was great. And in addition, our pre-AP teachers at the high school and the Algebra 1 pre-AP teachers in the junior high participated in professional learning to learn about implementing the new pre-AP curriculum that we have coming in this fall. So that was exciting as well. In preparation for the first day of school, we've been very busy since we've been back in August. We had on the 5th Curriculum Academy for new professionals, so the instructional coaches worked with all of our new hires to do planning and just really talk about instructional expectations in LaPorte ISD. We provided 2 days of training for instructional paraprofessionals, almost 120 of those folks in attendance. That was a great couple of days learning with them. Topics included active engagement, safety and security, documentation, and relationship building. The leadership team kicked off a year-long learning opportunity with N2L on August 5th as well. The LaPorte ISD Leadership Institute is what we're calling it. This is a full day of learning that happened on the 5th, and then we'll continue to engage in monthly learning sessions to develop our leadership capacity and learn strategies to help lead transformation in our schools. Tomorrow, we have a very big event. It's Curriculum Academy for all staff. So everybody will be with their content areas learning, leading the coaches and different department leads will be presenting priorities for instruction for 22-23, including the focus on literacy, mathematics, STAR 2.0, which was the redesigned STAR, engaging instruction, and of course, effective lesson planning. That is the foundation for it all. And then the teams will also have some structured time tomorrow for some cross-district planning so they can plan with their peers. In social studies, science, and some self-contained ELAR classrooms, we'll be learning from Margaret Hale tomorrow. She is a professor at the University of Houston, and she's going to be presenting strategies on providing constructed responses in the non-ELAR classroom. So how do we attend to those changes with STAR 2.0 to provide those written responses in those classrooms? And then, as Dr. Jackson mentioned, LaPorte U happens on Friday the 12th, but I do want to correct you, Dr. Jackson. There are over 240 sessions that we're going to be offering and 119 presenters. It is a really exciting event. We have sessions including instructional best practices, of course, lots of things that attend to our top priorities, social and emotional learning, STEM. We have Steve Smith coming from NASA who will be presenting all day long on different session topics. Sessions on special populations, technology, school safety and leadership, and of course, a special appearance by Mr. Jeff Martin.
Danny's gonna fill in for me. He said he'd bring gringos, and he's much better.
Excellent, excellent. So we've had a lot of activity and a lot of great things in place, and there's still more to come, but we're excited about all the work that we're doing and all the things that we're offering.
Thank you, and thank you for your presentation with the parents of STEM, about the STEM Academy.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Board, before we go to item D, we're going to go back to A, Superintendent's Report. Walter
Yep.
Jackson.
So you leave it to Walter Jackson to kind of just mess it up. I called somebody by the wrong last name, and I forgot to introduce one of our illustrious principals, Miss Karen Lawley, principal at LaPorte Elementary. Let's just give her a hand. We might have done that before already, but I just wanted to reintroduce you one more time with all of the rest of the folks, okay? Thank you, Karen, and welcome.
Board, we'll go to item D, Human Resources Staffing Update. Ms. Beatrice.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Jackson. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you our staffing information for this upcoming school year. As I'm certain you all are probably well aware, it's in the media and on the news that many districts are having difficulty staffing teachers, professionals, paraprofessionals, bus drivers, and that. I do want to come tonight to share some great news with you. You know, we have worked very hard. Our coordinated efforts with our principals, curriculum department, our HR staff, that just to let you know that we are almost fully staffed for the school year. And, you know, we're just very excited to share that with you and give you some details about that. As Dr. Jackson had mentioned in his report, we did host 3 job fairs here in the district. 2 of them were more pop-up job fairs, but we had over 100 people come to those job fairs interested in working for LaPorte in various capacities. We also attended state and area job fairs of universities and things like that. So those things all took place during our recruiting time, and we had teams go out, various teams from campuses as well as our departments to work together to do this. But I just wanted to just provide you an update that as of this evening, we have 70 secondary teachers and administrators that we've hired to fill positions that were vacant. We also have 44 elementary teachers and administrators who have been hired. Other notable hires, as you all have met some of them tonight, which is wonderful. We hired an instructional coach to replace a vacancy, a crisis counselor, an autism specialist, which was new to us, grant funded. I'm excited about her joining. Coordinators, district level administrators, as you've met here. Also, as of this evening, I do want to let you know that we do have 5 remaining teacher vacancies that we're working very diligently to fill. Very much, we have leads, and we have the interviews that were actually taking place today. So, still working to do that. And as of this evening, I just want to go paraprofessionals really quickly. 51, we've hired 51 paraprofessionals so far, including clerks and classroom paraprofessionals. 7 of which the classroom paras were added this year due to students' needs. And so as of this evening, we are working to fill 12 remaining para positions. We do have qualified applicants for those, and our principals are diligently working to do that. I know they have professional development taking place on their campuses, but we also have that. I'd just like to also share on another positive note that 3 of our teachers who were promoted into new leadership positions were members of our Aspiring Leadership Academy. You met, I believe, 2 of them here tonight. And so we're very excited, and we're looking forward to our cohort 2 of our Leadership Academy this coming year and working with them. We have people already asking about that opportunity. Again, I'd just like to thank you for all of your support and, you know, Dr. Jackson's leadership as we work with our hiring managers, our curriculum department to just really recruit and continue hiring for this school year. We want to make sure our students have the best staff, and I know that is your goal as well. We just want to say we're going to continue our efforts to achieve our goal of becoming fully staffed as soon as possible, and just want to thank you for your support. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Mm-hmm.
5 vacancies of
Teacher vacancies. 12 pairs, that's correct.
And board, I will provide this to you in writing. We just kind of want to give you a quick update on it, but I will definitely provide you this in writing.
Yes, and right before I walked in, we had 2 more recommendations. So we're certainly processing those as we go. So the data will, I'll make sure you have all the updated information.
I just want to praise y'all. I think that y'all's done a really great job. We have heard horror stories in the media and stuff,
Yes.
and I'm just hearing throughout this time period of how well y'all done.
Mhm.
Just to see this number being as low as it is, I'm really grateful for all the effort y'all done.
Well, thank you. Y'all are very welcome. Yes, whatever we can do.
Let me also say, just to the board, thank you for those words, but let me also say to the board and to those that are listening, LaPorte did not lower its standards as we continue to hire good folks. I think people are getting in a rush now because school's going to start for everyone in the next week or 2. But I am proud to say that we've really tried to hold to very high standards of hiring good people that we can trust to be working with our students. And so that I commend you, Angie, and your entire team, and all of our principals that are working hard to not just hire the first person that walks in the room.
Yes, sir.
We have, I heard you say 5, maybe 5 or 6 vacancies, not 500.
Yep.
And so I will say, all of us need to say a prayer for our neighbors all across the great state of
Yes,
Texas,
sir.
because there are some folks that are in much dire needs than we are. And I
Yes, sir.
think we meet our goals before.
Also wanted to share with you, in addition to the Aspiring Leadership Academy, we are always looking, some of our paraprofessionals are attending college and wanting to become teachers, and we're always looking for that, as well as our student teachers who are in our district. So we were able to do some of those things as well this year. So very proud of that, and our principals always looking to grow our staff.
Awesome,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, board, we'll go to item E, safety and security update. Mr. Bowman?
Technology, so there we go. That's good. Well, good evening, Board President Yonda, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Jackson. When I started this job in July, the first meeting that I had with Dr. Jackson was, we got to get the district in a better place with safety, and we've got to come in August and talk about it, and try to do our best to portray and give as much information as possible to our parents, to our community, obviously to you as Board of Trustees, on the things that we are doing and enhancing in our district, because I will say we're doing a lot, and I'm very proud as of today where we stand moving into the first day of school when our kids arrive. So tonight will be a brief overview of some current practices and then some items that we have upgraded or added to over the summer. I'm going to first start with some mandated requirements, some items that are required across the state of Texas of every school district. If you go back to May 24th, the Uvalde incident, that horrific incident, June 1st and 2nd, right after that, Governor Abbott contacted the Texas State School Safety Center and provided some directives to every district across the state. And it didn't give us a lot of time, because at that point we were waiting to around the middle of June to see exactly what those directives were. But I wanted to make sure to kind of mention this tonight, that we've completed those elements, and I'm going to talk through those briefly shortly here for you before we walk into August 16th and 17th. So the summer audit, that was the first piece that came out. There were two components that derived directly from Uvalde as far as processes and procedures, and more importantly, facilities, and the malfunctioning and components of doors on our facilities throughout the district. The summer partial audit was a piece that went in depth with procedures, and I mean visitor components. When we walk into a school building, do you have Raptor management systems in place to screen the people who go into your building? Do you have access points and control points when you come up? Is there a camera? Are you able to walk into the building? So we had to review all those things throughout our district to ensure that we had those things in place. Part two of that, do you have safety and security teams on your campus and in the district? Do you have threat assessment teams that are constantly reviewing different incidents on your campuses and putting supports in place to try to get ahead of possible violence that we could see? We are in great standing as far as that partial audit. It is complete, and we finished that up July 28th. I feel very good about all the processes. There was nothing on the document that we looked at that we weren't already doing or we're trying to enhance with better software and hardware. Part two was the exterior door safety audit. That was directly deriving from Uvalde. When you go back to that situation, there was a door unlocked. When you get into that situation, when he breached the campus, he was actually able to get into an unlocked classroom. When you read the after action on that report of that incident, it claimed in that after action that there was a work order to get that door fixed. Obviously, I can't get into the details on what that is, nor make that a fact, but nonetheless, it caused school districts to have to go out and look at every exterior door, literally every exterior door in our district particularly, to make sure that it functioned properly and that it had the proper components to function, obviously, in a safety and security type situation. I can tell you, and principals can help me on this, but I visited them. We looked at every door possible. We looked at all the different access points, and we are in very good standing also in that audit. Both of those pieces, as well as the district emergency operation plan, will be submitted to the state in September. So all those will be signed off by Dr. Jackson and will be pushed off. So I just wanted you to know that we've completed that component. Part two of those mandates was the Safety and Security Committee. This isn't new. This is something each year that districts have done. The only thing that changed in that mandate was you didn't really have a time frame of when you needed to complete it. Many districts would do it around October, but all of a sudden you had to have this done before the first day of school. We held ours on August 3rd, in which we had to review 2 pieces within that meeting. We did other things, but the main 2 pieces that we had to review was the district emergency operations plan, which is really our derived document that we structure everything out of and base all our approach out of, and I'll talk a little bit about that tonight. And then we had to review our active threat plan. So active threat is active shooter. It can be, someone on the premises from a robbery that made it onto your campus, trying to breach, trying to cause harm directly to your students and staff. You had to build a plan within that plan, right? An annex that identified different roles and responsibilities. We did review that on August 3rd in-depthly, gave copies to that team. That team is made up of multiple people, community members, local authorities, superintendent, board president, obviously district personnel, campus principals, counselors, assistant principals, and so forth. So we've completed that action. That committee is required to meet 3 times annually, 1 time in the fall, 1 time in the spring, and then 1 time in the summer. We will meet 4 times. I told them and kind of gave them that. So we'll meet right before Christmas as well to review some of the things that we're doing, because I don't think 3 times is enough. And then we have the ability to meet at any point. If something comes up, we can call a meeting and schedule that. Campus requirements. So some of the things that had to take place on the campus level, something big there was training substitutes. Now, LaPorte already did that, so that was nothing new for us. It was just more so taking the sign-in document to ensure it went into our audit. That took place on July 26th. Sergeant Novosad kind of manages our SRP, which is our standard response protocol training. He took care of that, and he's actually wrapping up the second group this week or later in this week, so we'll be complete there. We had to schedule all mandatory meetings and drills, mandatory drills. I've given a deadline of tomorrow for our safety officers to complete that. It's already done. It's in our Navigate system, and I'll kind of talk through Navigate tonight as well. Train our threat assessment teams. Our scheduled training is August 15th. And what we'll do in that is kind of identify how to identify students that need assistance or are showing signs of at-risk behavior and concern. We train teachers, we train staff members and campus administrators, and that team oversees different components on the campus if a threat arises. Exterior door sweep assignments, something within that mandate from the governor was once a week. Exterior doors had to be reviewed and have a sweep of them. We'll be doing that daily. I've asked all the campus principals to build that into their duty section, so there will be someone on top of our SROs who are housed on campuses looking at doors every day to ensure that they're shut, to ensure that there's no issues with them in case we need to put a work order in or get a maintenance member over there to fix them. The last piece, which didn't derive from the mandate of the governor, but it's something important to note. Every school district in the state is required to complete a audit once every 3 years over their safety and security. You upload your EOP and all those components. I will say this year wraps up our 3rd year, so we will be taking our items to the state and going to that audit phase. One thing, LaPorte and previous administration did a great job. We have a contract with Harris County Department of Safe and Secure Schools. They come out every year and do a 1/3 of our schools. And this year they will be wrapping up our district. The good thing with that is it's consistent, it's fresh. You're not starting at year 3 trying to, get 3 years of data, and it's just hard to manage that. And also, they bring us the issues, so we fix it immediately, and we go ahead and update those things. So it's very current and fresh, but we will be submitting that this year. Any questions on the state mandated requirements?
I have a question about the 3 years where we do a 1/3 of each campus. I see the value in that of constantly rotating those to meet that requirement. But my question is, we have used Harris County Safe and Secure Schools for many, many years, and I'm wondering if we shouldn't maybe try another vendor at some point, just have a fresh set of eyes on
Sure.
things.
I think it's something we can definitely look at. We're obviously under contract with them this year already, so that is something I can take note of and look into and bring back some options for us to look at, some other companies that come in and do that, for sure.
In your prior administration, is that who y'all used for your safety audits as well?
We actually didn't have an outside contract. It was done internally. So that was new to me. And obviously it's nice because they take care of a lot of the work for you, right? But at the same token, you have a great point. I think that's something we can obviously review and see if there's other options that would be a little bit more in depth. Yes, ma'am. All right, so I'll talk first a little bit about our foundation and kind of how we're built on safety. I think it's important to kind of review these pieces with you, but we kind of call them our pillars, and they all connect off one another. We first start with our emergency operations. Everything derives off emergency operations and understanding what our roles and our responsibilities are in an event of a crisis. Off of that, we train off of those operations and roles and responsibilities. Once we train up, we practice in our exercises and our drills with our students and our staff and our safety teams. Then we take our software and hardware, cameras and Navigate 360, and that enhances all of those components that we just talked through there. Finally, the most important, in my opinion, and something that we have to put more emphasis on, and we will here at Porte ISD, is positive school culture. The mental health side of things and having better options and, resources to help our kids when they need it. June 1st at our retreat, I spent some time with our team reviewing 8 different school shooting situations. I took a folder, we looked up all types of articles and news, and we did breakaway groups and kind of talked through common patterns. And what you see in every one of them is they were crying out loud for help. There were items they were posting on social media, or they were writing notes, and people saw that. They never really reported it, or the kid never felt like they could go see someone. So obviously the culture component of relationship-driven campuses that our kids feel like they have someone to go to is critical. It may be more critical than anything we do. But these are the 5 pillars that we live with, and these are our foundational components, and I'm gonna spend a second here kind of buzzing through these. Emergency operations plan is built off a multi-hazard plan. So multi-hazard means anything that comes to us that could hurt us, we have to have an option and an outline of how we're gonna handle that. It really guides the district and campus safety efforts in an emergency event. We have both a district plan that outlines those crises, and we also have campus plans that are not as in-depth, but they're more targeted to the campus. All those plans have components of safety teams, like I stated, roles and responsibilities. If this occurs, what do I do and what is my role in that crisis? I may be the incident commander who's running the situation. I may be the safety officer who's on scene, kind of controlling the operational side of it. We have a continuity of operations piece, which is the recovery time. Let's say we have a hurricane and all of a sudden lights are out and we can't pay people. How long does it take Ms. Cumbie and her team to develop a plan to pay people, and what do we need to do, and who needs to get involved in order to get us back up and running as a district? And then there's those hazard-specific annexes, severe weather, active threat. You're going to see all of those pieces throughout those 2 plans. Again, both the district level and the campus level have these plans in-depthly. Our plan, as I mentioned earlier, does get submitted to the Texas School Safety Center on October 12th. So all our emergency operations derives directly from here. We train, and we're training, and we're going to do some more training, and then after that, think about some training, right? And I feel like that's all we've been doing is training. I go to bed and think about the standard response protocol and all the things that go with it. But it starts with that, because when you look at it, it doesn't matter what programs you have. If people don't know what to do, then we've failed. So training is critical, and it's important. Our staffs and substitutes are trained on our standard response, which is the 5 components. I'll discuss those in 1 second. We have campus safety teams that get trained on threat assessment, and NIMS, which is our FEMA protocol incident command structures, and then our Navigate 360, which I'm going to try to do a demo for you tonight, and hopefully it works. It's our emergency suite that really wraps everything up virtually, and it's our panic system, and I'll talk through that also. Our school resource officers, and this is good to note, and we have Sergeant Novosad is here. He's got an excellent team. I met the people that serve us, and they're great, but we train them, and they're required to get some training. We also try to do more. He really pushes the training piece, but they're required to get 40 hours of the SRO class of the National Association of School Resource Officers. There's some rapid deployment training they have to do, and obviously the active shooter response course, which has been pushed to the top They've done all those trainings as well as some other conferences that they go to. One thing that we will enhance going into the summer of next year is hosting trainings. The thing I'd like to do is get with LPPD, Harris County, and see if we can do an active drill, get into one of our buildings and try to get some of our administrators to see what that feels like. I've done that in a previous district, and it's very powerful. It's very stressful, but it's very powerful. Obviously, it's not kid-driven, it's more adult-driven, but we really attack it, and we go through our communication systems, and they go through their training. We breach a campus as if a shooter is inside, and we have to use all the things that we think are in place to see if it works. So, but this summer we did host some local training, alert active response training and active shooter response training at LaPorte High School and Lomax Junior. So we did have some ground to come in, and it was great. We had people all over the place, but that would be something that we will kind of build on into next year. Exercises, I'm sure you've seen these. If you've not, they're in every building that you walk into. We live in these 5 protocols. They are our existence. All our EOP's vocabulary is driven off these 5 protocols. This is what we communicate to our teachers. They get flip charts of them, and we really live with this as far as when a crisis occurs, a campus administrator knows that this is how we communicate. We get into a hold or a secure or a lockdown and so forth, and we practice it. We practice it with our teams, we practice it with our teachers, and we will, moving into this year, practice it with our kids more and our parents. That's one thing that we want to do is get into the 4 walls of the living room to show them this is what we're doing. And when you hear this, as a parent, you have to respond a certain way. If we're in a lockdown, you can't show up. We're not going to let you have your kid because we have a dire situation and so forth. So this is our guidance piece, and again, this is what, when you look into our campus and district EOP, you will see these verbiages and so forth in there, and that's how they guide what we do. So the software part, and kind of, in my opinion, the thing that at this point, from all the research I've done and reaching out to networks of people I know and in the safety world, that kind of sets us apart right now, because it's in any situation, it's the ability to communicate the situation. Letting people know we are in a state of crisis and communicating that. The old school PA systems are great, but there's 99% chance if we're good principals, we're not standing in the front office. We're in a classroom, we're in a hallway, and all of a sudden, what do we do when we have a crisis, and how do we tell our people so they know to go into whatever protocol that we're doing? And Navigate is our virtual piece. We have 2 options. We've got Navigate, which I'll do a short demo, and then we've got radios that directly connect to LaPorte PD dispatch and our SROs. And all our campuses have them. They can dial to a station within that radio, and when they hit that call, it goes to our SROs, which goes directly to the dispatch and LPD. I don't know how else and any other better way than we can make it to get people to help us. But what you're seeing here is the view from an administrator within our program. You're going to see start emergency, and I'm going to do one for us tonight so you can kind of see what happens when we initiate that. You're going to see our emergency plans are housed virtually in there, so if you need to virtually go in and see our EOP, we also do binders, but we try to have both in case we have electricity or whatnot. View and schedule drills, and there's flip charts, which kind of gives guidance to both the administrator as well as the teacher. Teachers have this. They have the app as well. We train and push the app, so they have access. If I'm at the playground and something doesn't look right, I have the ability to pull my app up and I can start a lockdown drill from outside on the playground. And that sends a signal, and I'm going to show you a message to everybody involved in it. Try to do this for you, not mess it up. So what you're seeing here, and again, I can't get too far in the weeds because we have to keep some of this internal. So this is my view. Obviously, I'm LaPorte ISD. I can see everything. And this is what an administrator would see if they got on a desktop. The teachers and APs and campus principals have it as a mobile app, okay? And when you pull that mobile app, all you're going to see is the ability to start that emergency, and it's going to outline the different things here. So respond is that piece within it. Activate an alarm. Obviously, I have all campus and locations, or excuse me, district locations, but when they pull it up, if they're a part of Bayshore, that's all they're going to get. That's all they're going to see. So we'll go admin building. Proceed here. I'm going to put us in drill mode. Obviously, alarm mode will initiate that. It'll send signals to the PD and so forth. Let's go hold. I see here at admin, we've got one of our staff members who's having a seizure, and we've got to kind of stop us. It's a little different here. But if you're on a campus, we've got to put us in a hold situation. I'm going to activate it. Ask me. And it's going to send me an alarm, and it's going to send me all kinds of stuff and start screaming at me and yelling, and it's texting me, it's sending me an email. It's going. Yes.
Mr. Baum.
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So this gets straight to the Port PD, and my question is, what if an incident happens at our two Deer Park campuses? Do the Deer Park PD?
Yes, they are
get-
connected as well.
Are they
It's the
connected?
same-
Okay.
Yes, and they have badge access, just like all the same things we do with LPD, is the same.
Okay.
When you look here, obviously I have a different viewpoint, but teachers will have the ability to look at their rosters and their kids are loaded in here. And so they can go in and identify for a reunification situation. Dustin Bromley's with me, Joey is with me, I'm okay, or I'm not okay, I need help. It also pins GPS on your phone. So if you're at the playground, you had to get into a storage unit, you know, here I'm far-fetching it, but, and, you know, I'm in there and need help, well, they'll know when law enforcement gets there to go to specific locations. So, again, here, let me end this alarm. But anybody with the access of it, and we all have it, and we're all being trained on it, and we're all pushing it out, gets those alerts. So I'm extremely excited about it because I do think it really sets us apart and gives us an opportunity to communicate quickly and frequently, as far as teachers also having the access to push it out. Any questions on that?
Yes.
Okay, so I talked a little bit about positive school culture, our fifth pillar. See something, say something. We are an anonymous alerts district. On our walls, you'll see those signs. In our classrooms, it's being pushed to put the reporting mechanism that we have for students to report things. But again, person-to-person relationship component is the biggest thing. Behavioral and mental health. We're looking at adding mentorship programs with our local pastors and different groups to come into our schools and walk our halls and be involved with our students and really trying to build that culture of, look, when I see this, I'm going to go to someone I trust, and then we can initiate things and help things with that. And then we have threat assessment teams throughout our district, and we will have one for the district level for that support component. Okay, I'm almost finished here. I know I'm going a little long, sorry. Safety upgrades. So some of the things that we have enhanced over the summer, I want to hit on it very quickly. When we did our walks, the whole goal, and my first goal in July was to get with campus principals and walk the buildings and ask, what are areas that you have concerns with? What are doors that you know that kids are leaving or skipping? How do we kind of take care of some of these things quickly? Obviously, this is a fluid thing, and we're going to constantly build on it, but what is utmost issues right now, and how can we attack it? So LaPorte High School is the biggest building in our district. It's got so many doors in it, and it's a tough thing that we constantly have to look at, trying to change things. But we're going to add a gate. I guess this would be, and trust me, I'm trying to learn our district and our buildings, but it'd be on the west side, right there next to the Angelo Theater. There's an opening there that has the dumpster site. You can actually breach in there and get into our campus. So we'll be putting in a panic door gate there. We're going to wrap that around with a fence so it kind of controls all of that. And Mr. Grammer, that was one of the first things he said. We got a lot of kids that kind of move throughout there that'll stop that, and hopefully we can have some better security with our fine arts area back there, that every one of them have a door, and it's just really hard to manage. So we'll be wrapping that up, and it'll put a security blanket hopefully back there to better support people being able to literally just walk up to our building and be in the interior phase of LaPorte High School. Junior lot, we're going to be putting a gate there. What that'll do with our SROs in the morning and the afternoon, they'll be able to control who's leaving and control who's going. So kids aren't just exiting, and there's not all kinds of people driving cars throughout, and we don't have control of it. So we'll have that put in place, and we'll be able to kind of manage that part. Also, on the north end of the building, when students exit out of the main building into the CTE building, right now there's a timing feature on the door that it unlocks it, but in short, the door is unlocked. And I just can't sleep at night knowing that. So we put some things in place, and these students are going to receive our badges, similar to what we have as admin, and it will be designated for that door. So any student that travels, at least the door will stay locked, and they'll have to have access badge to get in and out. And we're working through that part of it. At DeWalt Academy, we've added an additional access point at the front office. So now that all our districts have vestibules, and they're great. They're in excellent shape. Most of them have 3 points, and I talk about 3 points because the first point is, can I walk in and just directly walk into the vestibule, or do I have to go through the ring, which is what we have, and someone buzzes me into the first level? And then do I get buzzed into the office? And then am I buzzed into the building? So DeWalt now has those 3 points. Most of our campuses do. We're working to get everybody to where that's what it looks like. So you really can't walk in without someone allowing you to go in. And that's that access control component that we're putting in place. Heritage in the back where the ECC is located, they do have a ring. The students are able, or excuse me, the parents come up. In the current practice, and it's not that it's wrong, but the current practice is they're kind of located, as many of you know, it's not really by the door. So when the parent comes up, they know the parents. They know all of them. The parent says their name, they can see them, and they'll buzz them in. My first day, I'm standing there and someone was buzzed in. Great guy, talked to him for 20 minutes, but he ended up all the way down the hallway. We have kids in that building that are also going to the elementary side of it. So we're putting a panic gate button there as well, so there'll be two-part access, so they'll have to buzz into one level and then be buzzed into the next. So it just adds another layer of support, and we're also looking at setting up an office station there at the entry spot to try to man someone there if we continue to get issues. Key boxes across the district, that's a fire marshal component that we've got to put in place, but those are those Knox boxes. What that is, if I'm a law enforcement agent, fire, police, if I show up, it's got keys in it to the building. So they were able to get that out. They've got the code or the key that's designated to that box, and they can gain access into the building. Alarm function doors added throughout the district. Our high school has those right now. What those are, it's kind of that picture there, bottom left. They sound an alarm. With a big building, these are great, because what happens is if a kid goes out that door that they're not supposed to, it opens, it's going to literally go off. You've been to a restaurant and you went out the wrong door right at Gringo's, probably not good, and it yells at you. So it's just another layer of, teaching the kids and even the adults, like, we can't use these doors, they're off limits, so we know that they're secure. Surveillance, Dr. Jackson mentioned the camera component. We did add 151 cameras. It took our count to 1,100. At this point, we actually have to get another server, right? Mr. Hill's mad at me because we got to get some more server component there to handle all of that. We're adding SRO iPads. The SROs are getting iPads, and they'll have district camera access anywhere they are in the district. And then we're putting designated monitors in the front office of all the campuses that will have standard external views, so they can do their work. They can still see their entry, but we also have a designated screen that at any point they can see the playground, and they don't have to shift through the system to try to pull up that specific view. Reporting mechanism. Social Sentinel is something new. It's a part of Navigate 360, and what it is, especially in secondary, and I can tell you as a former high school principal, I dealt with this so much, is threats online. Kid at the middle of the night goes on Snapchat, and they're on their couch with a gun, and they say, we're going to shoot Porte High School tomorrow. That program is constantly scanning all of those platforms, and it works. I had this in my previous district, and it sends alerts immediately, and it scans whether or not that image is stock, because there's a lot of images kids take, and it may have been from 1998, and it's not even them, and then you get that, you think it's that kid, and what do we do? But it scans it for us, and a team or whoever you designate will receive that alert, and it kind of breaks that down. So that's a piece that we're excited about. The Navigate 360 threat assessment will take all our processes to an electronic state. We're adding ID badges again. We did that pre-COVID. We're bringing that back, so all students and staff have ID badges. And then we're going to be looking at pre-registration across the district for our parent events, and then looking at our event schedules specifically at the end of the year to ensure our SROs can be present at those items. We have 135 safety radios across the district. I mentioned this. This was the part 2. This was the hardware component. So this is the radio that the principal at any point has access to SROs and the dispatch, PD, and so forth. So we've used those. Those are on campuses already. This is important because it also gets to the nurse. It also gets to the counselor. So it's not just the administrators. There's other key players that have access to these radios to communicate. Transportation's a big one. They have them as well. We don't talk a lot about transportation and that safety piece. So that's a huge element. If there's an area of concern, if they're on the road, if something happens, they've got the ability in literally 30 to 40 miles out to communicate with authorities to get them to them if they need them. The additional SRO component, we are seeking and we're trying to add them. This is a problem across the Houston area because it's soon, much like the teacher shortage, now you got to pull and everybody's trying to get them. And we've seen all of a sudden bonuses to get people to come work. It's the same thing. So we are seeking to get more. It's just tough. And Sergeant Novosad and I had conversated this morning about trying to just find ways to recruit them even better, and what can we do to to get them inside our four walls. In the meantime, we have worked with the chief of police to better look at our rotations on what we're doing with our ROs, and also he's mandated that any unit, right, that's on patrol outside of our SROs has to make trips daily to our campuses to do exterior sweeps and perimeter walks. So that's just an added layer that just helps us until we can get those SROs on all our campuses. We're going to be looking at getting some equipment for our guys and ladies, ballistic helmets and ballistic shields. We're going to house those on each campus, a set amount in case they need them. They're going to have access to them. Obviously, that's a direct result of Uvalde and not having the proper things. So Novasad and myself have already worked on a list, and we're going to be getting those things for our folks to have in case we need to use that at time of crisis. And then lastly, wearable panic buttons. Okay? Everything under the moon at this point, right? The wearable panic button piece is a little different than what we've got. We are still, what we've got outside of the radio and the Navigate is still running off Wi-Fi, it's still running off cellular components. The wearable panic button connects to our phone system, which then connects to our desktops. It's hardwired components. So it's really fail-proof in a sense of trying to get that same message out. If we have a situation, we're going to designate staff to wear these panic buttons, and you can kind of see a picture down at the bottom right. They would literally hold that button for a certain amount of time. It would send messages to desktops and phones. Another way to communicate to our teachers and our staff and so forth. So that's a piece that we're going to be looking at, as well as some security film components that we'll be adding to some of our exterior and interior windows. Any questions on any safety component, or anything that I didn't cover?
On that last item, you said it's something we're looking at. Is it actually something that we are implementing? It's just something we're researching?
We're researching. We've set on 2 demos. We want to make sure that our current system, our phone system, has the ability to handle it, and it does. So we're looking, now we're at the quote phase.
Okay, and this is pretty much the only portion that we haven't done. Everything else
Put off the
is
ground,
off.
yes, that's right.
I'll speak as a parent. I was almost in tears a minute ago, just knowing how much y'all we're doing for our kids. It's major progress.
I like that. It's major progress in a very short period of time. I'm very impressed that we were able to do this under the current budget, right? We're not going to bond to do this. And I appreciate that effort that you guys have put forward to make this happen immediately.
And a lot of it, I think Dustin shared earlier, and thank you for doing a good job of participating in that. But I think a lot of it is already in place.
Yeah.
And, so the good thing is that we already had some good systems.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we always talk about them, because I don't know that we had to, but I appreciate you taking the time. I asked him specifically to just take this hour tonight. I wanted to make certain that the board and I can hear some of the wonderful things that are going on, because we take this safety as very, very seriously.
Yeah, man.
Hold on, I have a couple questions.
Question?
For the benefit of the public, you know, the reports coming out of Uvalde, you know, and what happened there. There was, you know, report how confusion about who's the incident commander, and I just want it, you might assure the public that depending on what threat, we have a clear delineation in our plan of who the incident commander will be.
Absolutely, yes. We have both incident command structures at the district level, which is the most important piece, because in the end, they will be the folks who take over. I serve as the district incident commander, and then everybody is 100% identified in our structure, literally by name, and we have backups. Just in case, if I'm out, then Dr. Jackson or Rebecca or Rhonda would then step into that role, because that could happen. You know, the campuses also have ICS at the top level. We don't go so far into the weeds of it, just because they would never have to use it.
And my second question is, with the see something, say something, are we doing any kind of, maybe this year, giving that some of that information and reaching out to the parents so they have those conversations with their children, and let them be and be aware of what's available if a child sees something?
Yes, we plan, and I'll be working with Mr. Shoppy, our Director of Parent Engagement and Assistant. So we're going to have a big safety night, parent engagement night, that we'll have some speakers come in and kind of really open that up for the parents also, and preach that heavily. Our campus leaders, and I want to tip my hat to them, because they've done most of this work and training the staff and pushing the importance of it. The tough thing with safety, and I say this all the time, it's important when it's important and then we forget about it. And I don't care where you've been in education, it's just the way it works. So my job is to ensure that we don't forget about it and keep pushing our principals, and they've done, again, an amazing job. But yes, we will be holding some events to get our parents to come out and hear more about this, because a lot of people will get up and say, well, we can't tell you. And yeah, there's some things we can't share, but this is a lot of stuff that we can share and that we can talk about and better explain that we are doing a lot of things for that component. So, yeah.
Well, and I think those,
Can we put this on Facebook, what he just did right here, so the parents can see
Yeah.
what we're
Yeah.
doing? Is it being
Okay,
recorded?
yeah.
and some of, your incidents, like you said, when we're on lockdown, sometime we're on lockdown because of, a chemical release or something like that, and parents think they're gonna run to the school, and they're not supposed to run to the school. So that would be a great, be a great moment for y'all to be able to reach some parents. I think that's a great idea.
Mr. Bromley
Parents,
and I have
grandparents.
had probably a meeting a day, sometimes 2 or 3, about these kinds of incidents. But I think I have the board's blessing on this, and I'm going to just say publicly one more time, we are going to have a zero tolerance policy on folks getting on social media, making those kind of veiled threats. And there's gonna be something done about it, is what I'm trying to say. And my
As well
principals
we
are gonna
should.
have my full support, and, there are mechanisms in place for that. But I think as much as we're gonna talk to parents, we also need to say, there's gonna be a zero tolerance of folks making those kind of veiled threats or those, I'm gonna do this tomorrow, because I think sometimes that becomes a copycat. And so, as much as I know parents wanna know what are we doing about the safety, we also need to know that there's gonna be consequences that go with kids that are out there doing those kinds of things. And clearly, we know there's mental health and there's mental, issues that go along with some of that. But we also have to be very, very serious about how do we deal with that once we get those threats.
Real quick, I'm sorry, you, and I spoke the other day, would you share with the rest of the board the IDs that the students are wearing, the content that will be on the back of the IDs for them as a resource?
Yes, so we have our suicide hotline component that's on there. There's a mental health component that's on our secondaries. We're going to try to push that down. We actually just talked today about taking the standard response protocol, 5 response protocols, and giving them another card, and so we're going to do that as well. So just another way to get our kids to know to use this. QR code will be on there that can trigger them to a certain support service that they may need. I mean, we deal with so many mental health components that it's just critical that we have those outlets for them.
And is there, along with the mental health, with the suicide line, is there a line they report to for the see something, say something?
Yeah, the anonymous
And
alerts
that's
is
on
on
there
there,
as well?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Now,
That's
while we're
awesome,
on topic, our safety review that we had, it was either late May or June in our last meeting, just to get to the brief at that time. It was impressive, and you can already see, you've addressed the other concerns that we had as a board. They've all been addressed, and again, just to reiterate, just the relationship we have with the Port PD. They're a fantastic ally. I did have a question, probably for you, sir. Just, you spoke about the redundancy of the radios and how in Uvalde there was some disruption, and I could not remember, I got pressed on it, and I went blank, and I could not remember where there was a redundancy. There was a system that allowed us to not have those disruptions. Can you fill me back in on that?
Absolutely. So we at LaPorte PD years ago made a contract with an app called Tango Tango. We actually got it from the fire department. So what that app does is it allows our phones to become our police radios. So as you know, in the thick concrete walls within some of the internal workings of our buildings, those digital signals just don't work. So what we've worked with Mr. Hill and his team when we got these to also for our phones when they're on Wi-Fi, we had to work within the firewall to make that happen. So no matter if we're on cell or Wi-Fi, that app, it turns our phones into a police radio. I am in charge of that system. I do the contracts with the company. It works famously. So it's a fail-safe.
That's awesome.
So, because we talked about before construction of a tower within the high school when we first started building.
Yes, I remember
We
that.
talked about the tower on 4th Street, the water tower there that was millions of dollars, and it was a 50-50 chance it was gonna work. So basically, the PD pays for this service, it is zero cost to the district, and we gladly do it because it's that fail-safe mechanism.
Mr. Brother, I think I heard you say that you guys are hoping to get some active trainers shooting trainings eventually. So one of the things I'm really excited about is that Chief Deerdorf, I want to put a plug for him. He came to the chamber and asked us. He sold me on the idea of needing a laser shot simulator, and what really sold us was the fact that it would be used across the PD for Morgan's Point, Schwagers, and LaPorte, but also our SROs. It's a mobile simulator that they can bring here to the administration building, our teachers, administrators, whatever, and get them kind of antiquated on a lot of these active shooter simulations, right? And they're gonna take them to plants and all this stuff. And so that's something that we should have in place in the next 6 weeks. And so I'm really excited to bring to you guys
Great.
and put you in touch with them, and we can provide
That'll be the
service.
next work. Taking in July was just looking at our buildings and getting our things situated. Really, the next piece is strongly connecting with our local groups because they are exceptional. And Johnny Morales is here tonight, or he may still be here. We communicate so much with just, being where we are located. And I was talking with Dr. Jackson earlier today. Like, we are prepared for a lot of things. In the district, Mr. Clausen has done a great job of kind of having those things in place. We just really need to refine it, make sure we know it. I think that's the biggest thing. We know we have it, but do we know how to use it, and are we using it? And that's that next piece. So absolutely, that'll be the layer that we push forward.
We appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Board, before we go to the next item, just on the security update, just wanted to remind the board, do check your emails regarding the required security training that's due September 30th. And I was able to take it, and it was very informative. So if you haven't done it, please do so. Okay.
That's another mandate from the.
Yeah. So, okay. Okay, with that, go to item, thank you, Mr. Rodman.
I think I'm next too. So.
No, you're
Double up.
F Bond Steering Committee update. Mr. Rodman.
Yeah, and Dr. Jackson may add some to it, but we did have, not our first, but really kind of our first, under new administration, our bond steering committee meeting, I guess, late July. Just to recap, it was a great meeting, we had decent attendance, had an opportunity to kind of review our goals, our purpose, and, some of the work that the team has done previously. I brought that back up and kind of outlined some of those items and kind of talked about that. But more importantly, we had an opportunity to go tour the football stadium. Took the group out. Mr. Marler helped us, and we really walked through all of that and kind of talked about its condition, and and just had an opportunity for the committee to conversate about some of their feelings on it, and just some other things. So moving forward, our next meeting will be very soon, and we're going to go look at some campuses and kind of put some perspective on the state of those facilities.
I have a request for I guess you, Dr. Jackson. So, and I hate to put more work on it, but you guys are doing a lot of great things, especially at the start of the school year, whether it be the bond committee or the shack, all these different things going on. Would it be possible for us, the board, to get kind of essentially like a master list of the different things? Again, we're maybe not needed or invited to everything. I get a lot of calls on what's going on with STEM night, and it'd be nice to have like on a calendar. I could show them like, yeah, they're doing this, but just have like a master list of everything going on each month.
We can work it out on that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Board, do you have any questions? Okay, we're good. Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll go to item 8, consent agenda. A, determine and approve any consent agenda items. B, approve board meeting minutes. Number 1, regular board meeting minutes, June 14, 2022. C, receive financial reports for July 2022. D, receive quarterly investment report for June 2022. E, receive report of cooperative fees paid by LaPorte Independent School District. F, receive 2021-2022 School Health Advisory Annual Report. G, receive 2022-2023 LaPorte ISD Student Handbook.
Please pull item G.
Okay. We'll pull item G. Okay. H, notice of employment of professional staff. I, approve budget amendment.
Can we pull I, please?
Okay, point I. J, approve continuance of 3-year plan / year 2 for workers' compensation coverage. K, approve memorandum of understanding for Harris County Department of Education's Area 1 Head Start program. L, approve purchase of installation and cabling services for security cameras.
I'd like to pull that, please.
Okay, L, pulled.
Yes.
Okay. M, approve purchase of laptop computers.
Can we pull that as well, please?
Okay. N, approve purchase of special education contracted services. O, approve receipt and first reading of TASB Local Policy Update 119 affecting local policies CPC Local, DMA Local, EHAA Local, EHB Local, EHBAA Local, EHBB Local, EIF Local, FFBA Local, and FFH Local.
Can you repeat that?
A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Okay. P, approve receipt, first reading, and adoption of TASB local policy revisions for EIA local. Q, approve 2022 certified anticipated debt collection rate. R, approve 2022-2023 LaPorte ISD Student Code of Conduct. S, approve 2022-2023 Texas Teacher Evaluation and Support System T-Test appraisal calendar and T-Test list of teacher appraisers. T, ratify purchase of online learning programs. Okay, Mr. Shoppy, you mind reading back the consent agenda, please?
Consent items A, B, C, D, E, F, H, J, K, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T.
Okay. Board, seek a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Oh, so moved.
Okay, Mr. Shoppy made a motion, seconded by Mr. Martin. Call for the vote. Okay, is unanimous. Thank you. Approval. Okay, we go to item G, receive 2022-2023 LaPorte ISD Student Handbook. Mr. Jeff Martin.
Hope it's a basic question. One of the things that helped me last year was that I believe it was Mrs. Tilley and Mrs. Whitfield, I believe. That my question was, what additions or deletions or modifications have we made to the current year handbook as opposed to last year?
I don't know, Dustin, you wanna come and kind of help with that? I can't speak to the specifics of them, but it was one that we talked about, and I guess now it was maybe April or May, when the board, and I visited, and we decided laptops were not going to be a major issue.
Mhm.
What color
Yeah.
laptop, whether they need mesh or whether they need
Right.
clear. I don't recall any other major.
There were
issues.
portions that were highlighted yellow, but I noticed that part. But so I didn't know if that was a correction, that was addition, or
The only major portion outside of really it staying the same had to do with the grading period moving from 6
Mhm.
weeks to
6 to
9
9
weeks, which was the policy piece. But outside of that,
Okay.
it really modeled.
And I didn't see it. I got some questions on our human sexuality curriculum. Is that covered in this? Did I overlook
Yes,
this?
Yes,
but-
it is.
but
We didn't make
parents
any
are
changes?
notified behind those kind of things.
Okay, so it's pretty much status quo.
Same,
Okay,
there's nothing major going on.
that's all I need to know. Thank you.
okay. Board, do y'all have any other further questions? Okay, I seek a motion.
So moved.
Ms. Thompson made a motion, seconded by Mr. Shoppy. Call for the vote. It is approved unanimously. Thank you. We go to item I, approved budget amendment. Mr. Hanks.
Yes, real quick, I know I should know how to read this income statement, but on, number 41, general admission for the $100,000, what is that? Okay.
Board, any further questions? Okay, if not, seek a motion.
Motion?
Mr. Hanks made the motion,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Thompson. Call for the vote. It is approved unanimously. Thank you. We go to item L, approved purchase of installation and cabling services for security cameras. Ms. Thompson?
Yes, Eddie, hi. I'm gonna pull it back up real quick. Hold on just a second. Sorry, had to enlarge it, my old eyes. So these are additional cameras that we're putting in places in areas where we didn't have good visibility? Okay.
Some are external, some are internal.
Older models that represent,
Okay.
it's a part of that number, but
Yeah, it's part of that 1100 number that you said, okay. All right, and the cabling in here, are we making some upgrades to the other cabling along with this, or is this strictly just cabling for these?
This is
cameras?
additional cabling.
This is
Cabling that doesn't exist.
Okay, awesome.
the external runs on cameras are difficult. So if you don't have drops in there, you gotta find ways to do that. So a lot
To
of
get
that.
to those places. Okay, I just wanted to understand it a little bit better. Thank you, appreciate you. That was easy.
Board, any further questions? Okay, seek a motion.
Motion?
Mr. Hanks made the motion,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Thompson. Call for the vote. Is passed unanimously. Thank you. And we'll go to item M, approved purchase of laptop computers. Mr. Hanks?
Sorry, Eddie, that was me. I should have stopped you. I just wanted to know how many computers we were buying, and I know that we're in our long-term plans looking at trying to do the 1-to-1 ratio. I know that that's not what we're looking for here. We're just looking to subsidize. We've got a gap somewhere.
Yes, sir. These additional laptops are really gonna go to two areas. One is this year we had an unusually large number of new staff members, and so we're going to see a bump in the number of people who join our TIP program. And also, we felt like we probably wouldn't use that entire amount, 113, I think. We are going to then supplement some of the elementary or secondary areas that may have shortages this year.
Okay.
I think this is random that I've noticed this, but it says 113 additional computers and then 113 software packages, but then you get down to the second page and it has a 226 covers. Is that an oversight or is that?
No, actually, this was the company accidentally sent us more computers than we actually asked for. They had them available, and we talked to them about purchasing them, but we couldn't buy all of that 226 number. So in their minds, they got confused. We ordered 113, they sent us 226. And so we came back with the 113 are sitting in my building, waiting on this board action to approve or we send them back. They didn't want to pay the shipping, of course, so they're hoping that we purchase them from them. And then we have to get the cases for all of them now, so.
What about on the software package? Will you need additional 113 software licenses?
No, our licensing covers our students, so whatever, with Microsoft, whatever devices we have, we're licensed.
Perfect.
So the 113 that's on here for software is for new employees?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Cool. Just checking. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good questions.
Board, any further questions? Okay, if not, seek a motion. Mr. Shoppy made a motion,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Hanks. Call for the vote. It is passed unanimously. I thought you- I didn't know. Okay, thank you. We'll go to item 9, action and/or discussion items. A, consider LaPorte ISD Distinguished Alumni/Citizen nominations. Is there any further questions on that? If not, I'll seek a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion that we approve the nominations as presented.
Okay, Ms. Thompson made the motion, seconded by Ms. Crutcher. Call for the vote. It is passed unanimously. Thank you. Go to item 10, action on closed session items. We do not have any tonight, so we'll go to item 11, Closing comments of the Board of Trustees and Superintendent. A, attendance at recent district and community events. B, announcement of upcoming district and community events. C, outstanding performance by district staff and students. Board, you have any comments for this evening?
Yeah, I'd like to just commend everybody that was involved in convocation yesterday. It felt like it was electric. There was, you definitely could sense the excitement in the air, and it was fantastic. I wish we could bottle it up and drink a little of the Kool-Aid all year. But kudos to everybody that was involved there. But I also wanted to acknowledge two people specifically because they work very quietly behind the scenes, but they do a fantastic job. One, Adam Holland. He really does a lot of heavy lifting for us to help our brand grow and get it out there, and we appreciate your work. I know it's no easy task. And Miss Candace also does a lot for us. It keeps us up and coordinates all these different personalities and different schedules, and I know it's no small undertaking, so we appreciate all you do for us.
Yes, Candace is excellent at herding kittens.
I think it's in herding. I'm like, what?
Herding. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I have something. Summer, it never stops, it doesn't seem. Have y'all haven't been by the senior parking lot? My son was the first one that got to paint the parking spots. They've evolved to masterpieces now. I mean, they're amazing. If y'all haven't seen them, which I probably have, go out and see them. And things did not stop at all this summer. Coach Pernethi and his coaching staff were working very, very hard out there. I was out there every day with them watching. A lot of energy out there from the coaching staff. A lot of energy from summer track that works with the city along with. There were a lot of kids. There were probably 300, 400 kids out there each day. And that's kudos to your coaches. It's kudos to your football coaches, your cross-country coaches, Coach Stewart, Coach Bunny. Y'all got some of the best. And they're still working hard, and they had their first practice meeting last Friday. And it was really nice to go out there and watch cross-country. So it's starting, and your park right around the corner.
We have Education Foundation, the Breakfast with the Stars on Thursday, and looking forward to celebrating those who were given grants last year. Also, grant season is coming up, so hoping everybody is getting their teams pumped up about that, and looking forward to seeing what they can do with that too.
I'll just echo my fellow board members, specifically Danny. So it's really awesome that this time of year the ISD has so many events going on. Last week, we had our new teacher luncheon, convocation this week, all these different things going on. It's hard to put on one event, let alone 5 or 6 in 1 week, and then do it again the next week. So to everybody in this room, I just applaud you, and Adam certainly, and the whole entire communications department. They do a phenomenal job. I just again want to welcome certainly all the new teachers. But we also don't want the staff that's been here for a lot of years to feel unappreciated. We sincerely appreciate. We talk a lot of the new teachers choosing LaPorte, but we appreciate that our tenured employees continue to choose LaPorte each and every year. And we're praying, guys. Again, not to be cheesy about it at all, but we have a lot of people in this community that are praying for this district, for our teachers, our staff, and that we just have a good year, and that there's a hedge of protection around each and every one of you. So again, we appreciate you for choosing LaPorte, and we thank you for the job you're doing.
And I'll echo everything that my fellow board trustees said, and I just want to wish everyone a great 2022-2023 school year. I think it's going to be a best yet for LaPorte ISD. And if there's no objections from the board, we'll adjourn at 8:45 p.m.